The only match of the season for Somerset was one which has statisticians rushing for the record books. Welcome to a look back at the drawn game with Warwickshire. Under pigeon grey skies, Justin Langer chose to field after winning the toss, and there was little in the first hour to show us what was in store for the rest of the match. Indeed, Somerset started well, with Ben Phillips picking up 3 wickets with just 66 on the board for the visitors. The pick of them, this in-swinger to Jonathan Trott, out for a golden duck shouldering arms. But the rest of the shortened day, because of bad light and rain, belonged to Ian Bell, desperate to show form to reclaim his number 3 spot for England this summer. Bell passed 50 to give a nod to the New England coach Andy Flower, with timing as perfect as many of his shots. Resuming on 84, day 2 belonged to Bell. Early on, he flicked a delivery from Willoughby to long leg for a single to reach 3 figures off 185 deliveries, becoming the first batsman of the summer to post a ton. He was aided by Tim Ambrose, another player with an eye on an England recall, who passed his half-century with a 3 through the covers. Bell looked determined to bat on and made his time at the crease look easy as he continued on his merry way, helping himself to more boundaries. In total, he struck the pickets 25 times, a nice neat 100 in boundaries alone. He passed his 150 with no alarms. His stand with Ambrose had reached 141 when Bell, looking certain to go on to a double ton, finally flicked at a ball from Phillips down the leg side, and Craig Keysvetter hung on to a superb diving catch. From 361 for 5, the newly promoted visitors lost their way, but some hard hitting from a future England player, Chris Wokes, eventually helped them to 500 all out. Wokes was the last man out. It was the first time Warwickshire had reached 500 against Somerset. Somerset had few mishaps in the hour they had to bat on day 2, with Marcus Trescothick his usual phlegmatic self. Day 3 began with Somerset openers taking the score into 3 figures before Trescothick sliced a low catch into the gully for 52. Justin Langer and James Hildreth came together with a score of 118 for 2, and they set about posting a partnership of 225 for the 3rd wicket. Langer started strongly, enjoying the flat Taunton wicket, but it was Hildreth who took control of the game for the home side, racing to his 50 off 75 balls. His next 50 took only 69 balls. It turned out to be just the start of an incredible knock. Langer, having batted with a runner, fell to the second new ball, leg before to Wokes for 76, with a score of a huge 343 for 3. After Xander de Brain was out, Hildreth reached 150 near the beginning of an amazing stand with Keysvetter, which ended unbroken on 318. The wicketkeeper reached his half-century with 2 straight 6s off Antbota, one of which flew out of the ground. Somerset resumed on day 4 at 454 for 4, and it didn't take Hildreth long to move from his overnight 191 to his double 100 with a tickle to fine leg for 4. It had taken only 237 balls. His 250 came up off 292 deliveries with a nudge through the vacant slip area for 4, and his mind was clearly set on reaching a triple 100. It would turn out to be the earliest 300 in an English season. Keysvetter passed his ton in the morning session. That came off 198 balls. And then the moment everyone had been waiting for. Jonathan Trott bowled a short ball which Hildreth dispatched for his 35th 4 of an innings he will never forget. His 303 took just 338 balls at a strike rate of nearly 90. Of the very next ball, Keysvetter reached his 150, and Langer immediately declared on 672 for 4, probably unaware that the pair was only 2 runs short of Somerset's all-time 4th wicket record of 320. Warwickshire went in again 172 runs behind and lost Darren Maddy as the game was inevitably drawn. But the match belonged to Hildreth, now a record breaker. It was an innings few who witnessed it will ever forget.